We're talking about the Deni meat tenderizer. I'm asked often, Rick, how what are some of my must-have gadgets in the kitchen? This is always at the top of my list. Because if you're going to be baking, grilling, or pan sauteing or frying any type of meat, you need the Deni meat tenderizer. There are 45 super sharp stainless steel blades that are going to make every cut of meat super tender.
Dave, well, first of all, I appreciate that comment. You know why? This is one of those tools in the kitchen that's going to transform the texture of your meat, make it super tender, but also those stainless steel blades are going to go into the meat, create flavor channels. So let me start off with a flank steak, because a flank steak is one of those cuts that has a lot of great flavor, but it can be super, super chewy. And you can see all these tendons that run along the meat. That's what makes it tough. But when you use the Deni tenderizer, those sharp stainless steel blades are going into the meat. Guess what they're doing, Dave? They're shortening those fibers. That makes the meat tender. But here's the really important thing, because it's not just about tender meat, it's about flavor. All of these little tiny slits now that we've created in the meat, and I love what you say, you call them flavor channels. You can see that's where your marinades, your dry rubs, any type of seasoning you put on the meat is going to soak into the meat. So instead of 24-hour marinades, how about 30-minute marinades?
Oh my gosh, and it comes out unbelievably tender and flavorful. Let me go over colors for you real quickly. We have this in blue. I have it in green. Here it is in black. I have red, which is already most popular, and orange is the most limited. This is $19.98. There's a little protective cup that comes along with this, so you're going to be able to park that right inside. There's even a locking mechanism, so when this is engaged in the lock position, you cannot get those blades exposed. It's locked right now, so I can press on this and it's not going to open up until I slide that lock over. And when I'm storing it away, just pop it right into its own little protective holder there.
So David, I want to let you taste this, and this is that great flatware that's coming up, that beautiful Argent flatware.
Yes.
This is a flank steak. We marinated for a half an hour, but we use the Deni tenderizer first. How's that flavor? It's like an Asian, spicy Asian marinade.
First of all, the flavor is great. Secondly, the texture is so good, because that flank steak can be tough and chewy.
That's right.
But if you tenderize it with the Deni, you end up, oh, there's nice heat on the back of that.
Yep.
Really, really delicious and really super easy to use.
Yep.
Now, whether it is a boneless cut of meat or you're doing bone-in chicken or turkey, whatever the case may be, but let's talk chicken breast.
Yep.
Chicken breast, super healthy for you, but also super bland unless you're able to season it, right?
That's right. Again, it's one of those meats that requires a long marination to absorb, but not when you use a Deni tenderizer. See those sharp blades? It goes right into that chicken breast, okay? So that's actually breaking down the fibers, making it super tender. But now all that flavor, all that marinade, all that dry rub, imagine now it's going to soak in. So literally, while the grill's heating up, while you're heating up the oven, you're actually marinating, but also creating a tender piece of meat. So it's going to taste like you spent hours and hours in the kitchen when you spent minutes.
One thing I like to do is put the seasoning on before I tenderize, and then I blast it into either a pork chop or a piece of chicken, whatever. Because when you use the Deni, you give the spice or the marinade a road to travel. Because what you're doing is creating what we called earlier, those flavor channels.
That's right.
So now you burst all of that great flavor right down inside. And remember, if you're using your Q card tonight, you can put this on 3 easy payments. Remember, that's easy pay on demand when you use your Q card, and that applies for any item on QVC or QVC.com except for gift cards. So it's an easy thing to do, an easy way to get that easy pay, and it works out super. Now, if you're cooking something bone-in, like a big roasting chicken or a turkey, use the Deni on that too.
And Dave, you know what? I don't want you to think, it's like you said, it's just for boneless cuts of meat. This is a whole chicken. Think of all the flavor that's in the skin when you season it up. Well, now when you use the Deni tenderizer, you're creating those little flavor channels. So all that moist, juicy flavor is going to soak into the meat. But now that white meat, instead of being bland and dry, it's going to be moist and delicious.
Well, remember, the reason the skin is a little bit more caloric, that's where the fat is on the chicken, right? So if you're able to blast it with the tenderizer, as that fat melts and renders under the heat of the oven, it's going to go right into that chicken breast. So that way you get more flavor and it's delicious. Talk to us about this.
Again, I was actually just talking backstage. Less expensive cuts of meat. London broil, sirloin. Now you don't have to buy that really expensive cut of meat. You can actually take the Deni tenderizer, and look how thick this steak is. See these blades? They're super sharp, so they go into the meat easily. And I'm showing it from the side here so you can see. And we've also created a really broad handle with this design, Dave, so anybody can use it. And just that easy. An inexpensive cut of meat is now tender. But again, I'm going to show these. Look at all those little flavor channels. Your dry rubs, your marinades, your seasonings. As you're cooking it, they soak into those little channels so you get that incredible flavor.
Let me tell you that we're busy on our lines and we've got colors for you. So I've got this for you in blue. Here it is in black. Here's the green. Red is most popular, no surprise there. And orange is now the most limited. Put it on your Q card. You can put this on 3Pay if you like. Now, customer top rated, $19.98. Rick, how best to clean this?
Top shelf in the dishwasher is the best way to do it.
If I don't have a dishwasher, how can I sanitize
The
it?
hottest water out of your tap with some nice sanitizing soap. And I always recommend as soon as you're done using it, David, clean it. This way nothing sticks to the blades.
Perfect idea.
Okay, and here's a pork chop. And again, or excuse me, a boneless pork, center cut pork chop. And this is what I love about it. This is such a bland, dry meat. But when you use the tenderizer, now it's super tender, but all the flavor, and again, I'm going to show you here, all those little channels soak up the juices and the marinades and the dry rubs, so it's deliciously flavorful too.
Well, this is amazing. Stay on the line here. Sean, how many of these are gone? 800 of these are now spoken for. So be on the line for this. It's K43351. Rick is coming back a little later in the show. He's got the Ronco, and we're excited about that. It's that vertical grill, which is unbelievable.
We're gonna cook some of the steak.
I know, right? We're gonna have some steak, or maybe some Bobby say smash burger.
Smash burger. There you go.
There you go. Hey, we're 9 minutes away from our food of the month. How y'all feel about hot dogs, Leslie? When Memorial